Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am excited to talk to you guys about some of the best drugstore makeup products that I've tried out. I filmed a video like this at the beginning of October, so if you want to hear about even more drugstore makeup products that I think are worth the money, I'll link that video below. But I've been testing out quite a few products that I really think are just as good, if not better, than high-end makeup. You do not have to spend a lot of money to get high-quality products. There are so many brands at the drugstore that are doing such a great job, and the price point, tends to be a lot more affordable. So I thought I would share those with you in today's video. I also have a couple of fails because inevitably when I'm testing out a lot of products, a lot of things work, but sometimes products don't work. So I thought I would share both with you in one video. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's kick it off with a new product from Real Techniques that I was super excited about. So Real Techniques makes my favorite beauty sponge. Their orange beauty sponge has been a staple in my collection for such a long time. So I was really excited when I saw that they were releasing a new sponge. This one is their Miracle Powder Sponge, and it retails for $5.99. The texture of this product is really interesting, and honestly, I usually use the beauty sponge to apply powder because I feel like it just gives you a little extra coverage. It sets the powder into place so well, and it doesn't look powdery. It kind of almost melts the powder into your skin, so it looks a lot more natural. So this one really appealed to me because they said they designed it specifically to apply powder to the skin. This just kind of applied the powder in an uneven way, and it just wasn't very flattering. It also dried so quickly, so I would wet the product, squeeze the water out, and then by the time I went to apply the powder to my face, the sponge was like completely dry. So I just don't think that I'm sold on like this velvety texture. For me, I feel like their original sponge is so good that this one just didn't even compare. So I personally would consider it a fail, but if you guys have tried this, let me know what you think. I was so excited about it, and I don't like it. Okay, so Physicians Formula recently kind of redid their organic wear line, and I have to say I'm not super familiar with the line. I hadn't tried too many products from it previously, but they did send it to me in the mail as PR, so I have been testing out quite a few of them. I'm in the process of testing out like the foundation, the primer, some of the skincare, because I feel like that takes a lot longer to decide how I feel about it, but there are some products that I just think are so high quality, and I'm really blown away by them. And then I also have a fail as well, but the organic wear Dewy blush elixirs are amazing. If you guys are a fan of liquid blushes, I think you're going to love these. I don't wear a lot of cream or liquid cheek products. In fact, I really don't buy them very often because I just prefer powder overall. I wanted to test these out because I thought they sounded interesting. There are 4 different shades, so I will swatch them for you guys. When you swatch these products on like the back of your hand, they look super intimidating and really intense. So I think that's what kind of made me nervous at first, but honestly, they blend out so easily, and you can definitely get more of a sheer application if you just take your finger or a damp sponge and lightly tap them onto the cheeks. These are so hydrating. They have the most gorgeous glowy effect to them, and they look so healthy on the skin. Like, these kind of have me rethinking my preference for powder products because when I apply these to the cheeks, I love how they look. They look so dewy and so just naturally beautiful. Now, they don't necessarily last all day long on my oily skin because even powder blush has a hard time staying in place all day long. But if you have dry skin or you like liquid blushes, I think you're going to love how these work. They're very easy to work with. They blend out very effortlessly, and you can sheer them out, but you can also build them up if you want a really truly intense saturated look. I was so excited when I saw Physicians Formula created this product. I've loved their organic wear lip treatment ever since they first created it. I think it was last year, and I used up an entire lip balm. That doesn't typically happen. I'm so slow at using up lip products, but I found myself reaching for this all the time. So I was so excited when they created tinted lip balms. I actually remember saying in so many videos, I wish they would come out with a tinted version. This is the perfect tinted lip balm. The actual lip balm formula is so nice and smooth and buttery and moisturizing. It feels incredibly just hydrating on the lips, and I love wearing it. It's easy to apply, it's so comfortable, and it really was one of my favorite products. And the tinted lip balms are even better because they just provide you with like a very subtle hint of color. They're not anything too intimidating, too rich, because sometimes you don't want like a full-on opaque cream lipstick. You just want something very light and not very noticeable, or just something a little bit more on the subtle side. So they do have some lighter shades, some nudes, but they also have some deeper, rich shades that are really gorgeous as well. If you're looking for a cruelty-free dupe for the Fresh Sugar lip balms or just a more affordable option, these retail for just under $10. So I definitely recommend picking them up. I think they are perfect, and they're definitely going to be a winter staple for me where I feel like, you know, my lips need a little extra moisture, but I want like that hint of color. These will be absolutely perfect. So if intense, rich color is what you do typically go for in a lip product, I would really recommend their new Nourishing lipsticks. They have 6 different shades. They are really, really hydrating. They're definitely not transfer-proof lipsticks. So if you touch your lips or you're eating and drinking, it is going to wear off fairly quickly. So I do feel like you have to reapply this throughout the day. And with some of the more intense, rich shades, you kind of have to keep an eye. Like, they definitely are a little bit more high maintenance because in my experience, they kind of get on the teeth, or, you know, they have a tendency to move around if you don't use a lip liner. But I feel like that's the trade-off, because these days I'm not really into like long wearing liquid lipsticks. I just want like a true cream lipstick that feels really comfortable, looks really smooth and gorgeous, and you definitely get that with this product. I just think they're really, really good. The pigmentation is insane, and I'm really impressed by these. I find myself reaching for some of these shades over like my Urban Decay Vice lipsticks. They're definitely more moisturizing than the Urban Decay Vice lipsticks, and these are only like $9.49, so I definitely recommend them. So I do have a fail from the line. This is their brow shaping gel. It does come in quite a few colors. The wand is pretty small, which I kind of thought I might like because it is able to give you more of a precise application, but it's like a plastic wand. It doesn't really, there aren't really a lot of bristles, and I noticed that with a lot of brow gels, they have almost more of like a mascara type of wand, and I thought maybe this would be better because it is a lot smaller, but I just don't find that it really grabs onto my brow hairs as well as a brush that has like more to it. It's almost too small and too thin, so I just don't find that it really does grab onto each individual hair very well. The actual formula of this product is incredibly watery. It's one of the most watery brow gels that I've ever tried. So because of that, it's very, very messy. I don't have a lot of brow hairs, so I find that this product doesn't even grab onto my brow hairs. It almost like hits my skin, and then it just looks like I just made a mess, because instead of enhancing the brow hairs, it kind of just looks like I applied gel all over my face. So I am not really a big fan of this formula. I can't really imagine that a lot of people are going to love it. Maybe if you like a really super watery brow gel for some reason, you might enjoy it. I think if you have thicker, more voluminous brows, you might like it. I used it on one of my cousins for homecoming when I was kind of in the process of testing it out, and she has a lot, like her brows are a little bit more voluminous. So it did work better on her than it did for me, but because it is so watery, I feel like at first it kind of weighed her brow hairs down. So I had to go in with a dry spoolie and comb out a lot of the product. So I just really don't think it's the most ideal formula. Speaking of brows, I recently tested out 2 other brow products from Essence. The first one is the Micro Precise Eyebrow Pencil, and I have the shade Dark Brown. This retails for $2.99, and they have 3 different shades. I've actually been looking for like a micro brow pencil. I asked you guys for some recommendations in one of my recent videos because I've been testing the one from Hourglass, and I love it. I think it is such a good pencil, but it's $28, and that just like blows my mind because I love the Brow Wiz, and that was $21. They recently raised the price to $23. This is a random side note, but I was thinking about doing a video on makeup that went up in price. I wasn't sure if you guys would be interested in that, or if it was like a little bit nitpicky, because not everything jumps in price, but you know, even a few dollars can make a difference. And the Anastasia Brow Wiz was $21 until fairly recently. I save all of my product links because I link a lot of the same products in my videos. So I have like a Google Docs or a Google Doc. And so when I copy the link to a new video, I always click it just to make sure it still works. And I notice when makeup goes up, and I have a list of like 12 or 13 products that have increased in the past year, which is kind of crazy. So let me know if you'd want to see that, or if it's like a little bit too nitpicky. I wasn't sure, but what was I saying? I think I was saying I won't really even pay full price for that, and that's my favorite. So to think about paying $28 for a new Hourglass pencil, it's just like, it's a little bit too much because I feel like I go through brow pencils pretty quickly. So I tested this one out, and I've gotten a few recommendations from you guys, so I am going to test out some other ones, but I really like this one. I think that the actual tip of the pencil is perfect because it is more on the small side, so it allows you to get like the front of your brows really easily without going overboard. So I like the shape. I think that this pencil is a lot more pigmented than the Hourglass pencil, which could work to your advantage depending on your personal preference. I like something with a little bit less pigmentation because, again, it kind of stops you from going really overboard and you don't use as much product. It's a little bit softer, so I feel like I do go through this a little bit more quickly. But for $2.99, it's a great alternative. If I can just take my time, go in with a light hand, it really is a nice option. And I won't feel as bad about going through this product fairly quickly because the Hourglass pencil is like 9 times the price of this pencil. So if you're looking for a good micro brow pencil, this is the great option. It does have a good amount of pigmentation, so keep that in mind. And it's a pretty soft pencil, but overall, I'm really impressed by it. Now, one of their brow products that didn't work out for me is their Eyebrow Pen. This one retails for $3.99 and I have the shade dark brown. There are 4 shades in this pen, and what's so weird about this is that when you swatch this on the back of your hand, it looks like it's going to be so promising. Like, it has nice pigmentation, it's smooth, it looks like it does create those hair-like strokes, but when you go to use it on your brows, it doesn't give the same effect. It's really not as rich or vibrant or pigmented, and this product is pretty stiff. Like, it's not flexible at all, so because of that, I don't feel like you really get like a true hair-like stroke because it's just very direct. Like, it's not flexible. I thought this might actually be a good dupe or a good alternative to the Urban Decay Brow Blade, which I love so much. The Brow Blade has been a game changer for me because it really does create those hair-like strokes, but it is truly like an ink staining product. And that's what this one is supposed to be like, but I feel like the actual applicator just doesn't lend itself to being as good as it could be. If they switched out the applicator and put more of like a brush tip like the Urban Decay Brow Blade has, I would definitely give this one another shot, but I just don't find that it works well for me. The applicator is a little bit too stiff, and again, when I apply the product to the brows, I don't get this look. So I've heard about Profusion Cosmetics for a while, and I've heard really good things about their eyeshadow palettes. They've actually sent me a few products in the mail as PR, but I actually hadn't tried anything out until very, very recently. I've had this Mirage palette sitting in my room for a while, and I just hadn't reached for it. And I'm so mad that I didn't try it out sooner because I am so impressed by the quality of this. It retails for $13. You can find it on their website, but you can also find this brand at Walmart. I tend to avoid super large palettes. For some reason, I just feel very overwhelmed by them and they're hard to store, and I typically just prefer something a lot smaller. And in my experience, a lot of very large palettes don't have the same quality as something a little bit smaller. I don't know what it is, but I think that I just kind of associate larger palettes with cheaper quality, which isn't necessarily fair. And I'm glad that I tested this one out because the quality is so good. I'm so blown away by the fact that this is $13. The matte shadows are really, really smooth, and they're perfect if you want to lay them all over the lid or if you want to blend them into the crease. They blend out so easily. They feel like butter, and they're not even overly powdery. A lot of shadows that are a little bit more affordable can sometimes be very powdery. The quality is just so good. The metallic shadows are not quite as smooth or rich as maybe ColourPop, but they still have really good color payoff and good pigmentation, good blendability. They stay in place well. Overall, this palette just performs really, really well. Okay, let me finish up with a couple of e.l.f. products. So e.l.f. recently collaborated with NABELA to create a new collection, and I talked about this collection in a Purchase or Pass video. There are 3 different parts to the collection. So the first part, let's talk about the brushes. This is the Beautifully You brush set. It retails for $20 and there are 5 different brushes. There are 3 face brushes, 2 eye brushes. I believe they're all existing e.l.f. brushes, but she just kind of curated her own set and then redesigned them so they're pink, they're really bright and fun. There is like a large buffing brush, which is great for foundation. You could also use it for cream cheek products like bronzer, blush. There is a large powder brush, which is great for setting your foundation into place. You can use it as a bronzer or a blush brush as well. And then there's more of a smaller tapered powder brush, which is great for under the eyes or highlight. There are 2 eye brushes. One is like a flat shader brush. This is pretty stiff, so I actually prefer to use it with cream products like cream shadows, maybe even like the ColourPop Super Shock shadows, or to use it to carve out my brows with a little bit of concealer. And then there is a crease brush, which is great for like precise color in the crease. I feel like the face brushes are really, really good. These eye brushes are nice, but e.l.f. definitely has a couple of other eye brushes that I like better. But for $20, you do get 5 brushes, so they even out to be like $4 each. If you guys are looking for some new brushes, e.l.f. brushes are really, really good. If you already have a lot of e.l.f. brushes, I would double check to make sure nothing is overlapping in your collection. But again, e.l.f. brushes really are some of my favorite. I think they're really good, especially their face brushes. She also created this gleaming loose highlighter, which retails for $8. I've always been very intimidated by loose highlighters, but I have to say that this one is it's kind of fun. I've been wanting to try more. I only have one in my collection, and I was excited when I saw e.l.f. was doing another one. This is a really, really gorgeous golden color. It works really well for my skin tone, but I think if you have a darker skin tone, you could pull it off as well. You can build it up to look really intense and, you know, beaming. It has a little bit of glitter, so it can be really, really intense on the cheeks, or you can sheer it out if you just kind of, you know, go over it with a larger fluffy brush as well. But I think if you've been wanting to try a loose highlighter or you like this shade, you won't be disappointed in picking it up for $8. The packaging is also really, really nice. You can definitely close it so it doesn't create such a mess. I am so messy with loose products, but I do find that this one is secure, so I've really been enjoying this. It could also be like a body luminizer. I just think the color is really, really pretty. So I do think that this is worth the money. And the last part of the collab is a lip cocktail kit. So this retails for $10, and you get a lip liner and then also a liquid lipstick. These shades are perfect. I love the colors that she created. I think that this lip liner is a lot more impressive than I thought it was going to be. I really only wear the ColourPop lip liners, and then on occasion I have 2 Charlotte Tilbury lip liners that I wear. So I feel like I was really impressed by this because I think it works just as well as my ColourPop lip liners, and maybe even a little bit better. It has really good pigmentation and it's not overly creamy. I feel like it's almost slightly tacky, so it really grabs onto whatever lip product I place on top and it locks it into place so well. And I just love the deep nude shade. I think it is so, so pretty. So I really like the lip liner. The liquid lipstick is also really gorgeous. This color is so pretty. I'm not super familiar with e.l.f.'s liquid lipstick formula, so I don't know how this one compares to their other liquid lipsticks. I have tried them in the past, but it's been a while. I feel like, if I remember correctly, their original liquid lipsticks are a little bit thicker. This is an incredibly lightweight, smooth formula, so it's almost a little bit watery. So I feel like to get the best pigmentation, I have to layer it up twice. But the more that you layer it up, the more tacky that it feels. It doesn't dry down completely like some other matte liquid lipsticks. It almost has like this stickiness or this tackiness to it. And honestly, you can resolve that by placing like a lip balm on top, which is what I kind of prefer to do anyways with liquid lipsticks. So that doesn't really bother me personally, but if you get bothered by a sticky liquid lipstick or one that doesn't seem to dry down completely, that is something worth noting. It is completely transfer proof. So even though it doesn't dry down completely, it's not going to rub away or wear away. It's just slightly uncomfortable to wear, and it does feel pretty dry on the lips. But honestly, the colors are so perfect, and I feel like for $10, I mean, if you can deal with a little bit of stickiness, it is worth picking up because I feel like the nude shades are so pretty and perfect. But I feel like if I have to pick like a worst product out of the collection, it would probably be the Lip Cocktail Duo, just because there are other liquid lipstick formulas that are better than this one in my mind. Okay guys, that is the end of my video. Those are all of the drugstore makeup products I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye.